The problem is this is going to happen faster than you can ever imagine. AI will take the office cubicle jobs first because most people in cubicles, well, they don't actually work. It's become like adult daycare. Uninterested people will fail miserably. Hyper-curious people will win hugely. And I know there's a lot of AI doomsdayers, and some days, honestly, I'm there. But I want you to still remember that you're not competing with the machines. You're competing with the humans who use them. So the game hasn't changed completely yet, but the gear and the speed has. You can still win the old-fashioned way, outwork, outlearn, outship the next guy. But some of your competition, well, they just are moving faster than you can even imagine. We're going to have this barbelled world where on one side, you're going to have someone who hasn't even figured out you can voice to text on your phone. And on the other side, you're going to have people who are running small armies of robots running circles around normal people. And yeah, the poets of pain are going to tell you this, that the world has always been ending for somebody. They screamed about the printing press. They lost it about the radio, the television, the internet. But the same rule survived every apocalypse. The ones who crawled out with bloody knuckles were the ones who did one more thing, one more time, one more, while everyone else was at the bar complaining about the end of the world. And yet, so many people are experiencing unbelievable pain through this transition, like struggling to find a job, trying to build an income from online work, starting over deep in their careers. I think America is racing towards a 10% unemployment rate, maybe 20. And that's horrifying, by the way, because the Great Depression was somewhere between 12 and 20%. And yet so many people remain unaware, which is why I'm kind of yelling at you on this podcast, because we haven't talked about this before. Like, if we do not understand what is happening in the world of AI, I believe nothing else you do will matter. Like, you will not be able to find work in the future. Period. End of story. I'm yelling at all of my employees. I'm yelling at all of my friends. Unless you've already made your bag, if you've made your bag, you're probably fine. There'll actually be like some deflationary pressures on costs of things. If you already have money, you're probably fine. If you don't already have money, you better fucking figure this out. Because if you don't, you won't get to be the human that asks the machine what to do next. There will be a machine overlord on top of you telling you to flip the fucking burger patties because it takes longer to create a robot than it does an AI that can oversee humans using video technology. And this brings us to like a deeper truth, and that's that humans are meaning-making machines. So AI can predict patterns, but only we humans decide what's meaningful or not. And I think the human brain is still obsessed with narrative. Like, we don't want just information, right? We want stories. Why did this happen? What does it mean? So AI can generate an infinite amount of content, but it doesn't care if it changes somebody's life. It doesn't care if somebody acts or not. It's got no skin in the game. I don't think it wrestles with shame and love and envy and mortality, but you and I do. And that inner chaos, that's what AI can't take from us and sometimes won't take from us. But I think that's what we have to protect. In 2023, OpenAI and the University of Pennsylvania had a study which found that up to 80% of workers could have at least 10% of their tasks touched by AI. I think that's low. But the best artists, creators, and entrepreneurs, they aren't worried because they're building. They've already figured out their leverage isn't just their skills, it's the ownership of attention. A direct, meaningful relationship with your audience is something AI can't create yet. And that's where you have to use technology or you will die by others who use technology. For instance, if I wanted to get attention today, I would use Beehive. Beehive is the infrastructure for independence in attention economy. It lets you publish your newsletter, grow your audience, monetize your attention in one place with no algorithms deciding whether your voice gets heard. So that's where I put my newsletter, and it became a media asset, a business, a moat, because it helps with growth tools, monetization from day one, and analytics that tell you what actually moves people. And so Beehive is where the best creators build their leverage, because that's what being human in the age of AI actually means. It means maximizing your connection to other humans. And so Beehive gives you a direct relationship with the only thing that compounds forever, trust. So I asked Beehive to do something for you guys, to give you a discount code. And they did. If you go to beehive.com, which is BEEHIIV.com, use code CODIE30, you get 30% off your first 3 months, because I want you to own your audience just like I do. My working theory right now is that emotion is our moat. Humans are hardwired for this narrative. So there's been multiple studies One in particular, they published a study called neurocinematics. So it's the neuroscience of film, where he basically used fMRI to measure brain activity in participants watching films with strong narrative structure and compared this to more chaotic non-narrative video. And he found that structured narratives cause synchronized neural responses across viewers. What does that mean? It means stories align brains. The more coherent, the better the narrative was, the stronger the shared neural arrangement. You and I, our brains would be sort of like synced. So if you look at the most influential entrepreneurs and artists in histories, Steve Jobs didn't win because he engineered the best circuits, right? He won because he understood desire. He understood style. Taylor Swift doesn't dominate because she has the most complex, chord progressions or something. She dominates because she connects her heartbreak to everyone else's heartbreak, and she does it at a level that the 10-year-old understands, and so does the 50-year-old. Martin Luther King didn't change the world by going through millions of books and scientific papers. He changed the world by articulating a moral vision so clear and emotionally resonant that millions of people saw themselves in it. So AI is just a giant replication machine, right? It's going to take everything that it's been trained on and give you the average, but it sure doesn't experience them. And people can tell. AI is the great automator. And to automate, it first has got to be an imitator. And that imitation fools people into thinking it's alive, right? But there's something different about when you live through suffering and come out on the other side. That is humanity. If everyone can experience emotions and suddenly has the same AI tools at their disposal, how do you differentiate yourself from everybody else in the age of AI? When literal execution isn't what differentiates you, because anybody can slop out a video, anybody can slop out an email, anybody can slop out entire books in 30 minutes with AI. Well, then what's the difference? It's one word, really: taste. If any human with AI can generate anything, then it's what do you decide to build that matters. If you can create 10,000 images in a minute, the person who can say, no, not that, that's crap, this wins. That's why founders like Musk and Bezos obsess over first principles and judgment, which is basically what at the base level should we be doing above all else. And taste is about knowing what you're not going to do. It's like inverse thinking. And you usually get that through having lived taste. AI doesn't have lived taste. It has something completely different. As AI sort of lowers the cost of creation, I think the real bottleneck becomes psychological. Maybe it's courage. Courage to put your ideas out there and to not let them be a gross generalization of everybody else's nonsense, to take a controversial stance. AI won't feel social rejection. And so, it won't stake its identity on an idea. It won't get embarrassed. You will. And that's maybe exactly why your work could matter more, because it doesn't matter now, actually, if you're smarter than somebody else. It's your ability to share something human. I want to tell you what's going to differentiate you in the age of AI. First, we've got taste. Second, we've got focus. You see, we want everybody else's attention, but right now we are in a battle for where our brain goes. Your ability to focus deeply, resist distraction that is everywhere in this age, and think independently to develop a worldview that is different from everybody else and not the average of everybody else is how you win. My biggest concern today is if you outsource your thinking entirely, like I am seeing people do to AI, your critical thinking skills and your taste will just atrophy like muscles. If I get one more fucking employee, send me an email or a script and it's it's not this, it's that, or it has M dashes all over it, or it's I'm struggling today because of X and Y and Z and E. It's so obvious that it's written by a machine. It's they have an idea of a spark. They throw it in AI. They let AI do all the critical thinking for them. And then they wonder why it's just like everybody else's slop. If all you do is throw your idea into AI and let AI do all the processing, then it's like hiring a ghostwriter to write your love letters. Yeah, it gets the words right. It hits a rhythm, I guess. It doesn't stutter. But if you let it talk for you for too long, who's in love with who? And your voice is completely missing. And then one day you realize the letters are perfect and none of them are yours. So you never actually train your own emotion. You let it be done by a robot. Being human in the age of AI means choosing not to surrender your agency. And here's the twist. The more synthetic and fake the world becomes, the more people crave that real shit that they know is you. Like, look at the rise of long form podcasts like this. Raw, right? You don't have like 4,700 visuals on this. It's personal storytelling. Because when everything is too polished, imperfection is the interesting part. Imperfection is real, not all the other stuff. It's actually why I don't trust half of the time anything I see online that is not from a name I already know. If it is some kind of good looking woman podcasting and I don't already know that she is real, I'm assuming that bitch is AI. Because you know what? Half the time they are. And the part that kills me is they get 3 million views on some nonsense that is not real, that is spit from somebody else's viral tweets. They have no world lived experience. And then there are 3 million views and hundreds of thousands of comments saying, yes, queen, what are you doing? This is why we need to push back on sort of this fake, shiny thing we're seeing on the internet. We need to be edgy and intense about our opinions. And let me tell you why. It's not just Codie's opinion and her ranting on the internet, although I think that's fun. It's also that there are so many studies on authenticity. For instance, one was on when social media influencers need to go beyond self-preservation. In this study, they examine how their perceived authenticity impacts their engagement and trust. And what do you think they found? Turns out audiences respond significantly more to influencers that they think are authentic and vulnerable, not just like super polished. Because AI really can simulate perfection. I mean, eventually it'll be able to simulate all of it at this fucking speed, but it cannot simulate vulnerability in the same way yet. So if you want to be human and free, then you've got to realize like you shouldn't just be the inputter. Hey, I got a question for ChatGPT. Let ChatGPT think for me. Like, you're the storyteller. You are the decision maker. It can be the processor and the database and remembering things, and you can use it to pull studies and ideas. I do that too. I don't find these all myself for you. I use AI, but it means you own your perspective and you don't just like take whatever comes out of it and then just repeat it verbatim. You should use it to sharpen your taste and develop emotional depth and protect your attention and have the courage to say the quiet part out loud, even and especially when you shouldn't. The moral of the story here is I want you to use AI to amplify your impact in the world, not just replace your ideas, your brain. Like if you can actually harness the power of AI to increase the speed, scope, and depth of your work, you're going to be just fine. But if you use it not as an editor, but as the doer in everything and the decider, then I think we're going to be like Idiocracy with a bunch of people hooked up to VR, like, you know, veins connected to AI, and just let the AI gods tell us what to do next. You know, eventually let them move our arms and legs for us. And so I think we are coming into a world that our kids won't even imagine what our world was pre-AI, which is probably why the only things I see my successful friends doing right now is making money to acquire assets because they're worried about a post-labor economy and getting as healthy as possible to protect them as they age, probably because they think we can live forever now with AI. And in 2026, I think the first step to making money is to figure out AI and to deploy its powers in the direction that's best for you. And to do that in business is what I do and teach and what we do in the boardroom here at Contrarian Thinking. But I do think, you know, if you're like me and you're too chronically online, like a single day during this AI boom kind of feels like 10 years. Like every time I don't look at my computer for a week, I'm like, holy shit, it can do what now? And so if you follow these instincts, it might take you down some weird rabbit holes, but we got to follow them anyway. And I always tell my people, like, if your parents fully understand what you do for a living, you're probably playing it too safe. You got to get out there and get weird, because unfortunately, historically, hard work maybe could have just gotten you rich. Like if you just worked really hard, that might have been enough. And sometimes I feel like that now because people don't seem to want to work that hard anymore. They want all the things, none of the sacrifices. But I think in some ways, hard work now becomes propaganda. Like, if all you do is work really hard on the wrong things, you're never going to get rich. If it worked, we'd have millionaires in every factory and construction site. Those dudes work super hard. Success in the age of AI isn't just about working more. It's about working on the right things and then applying that leverage to it. Like I was looking at notes the other day that said that Jeff Bezos made like $1.7 million in 13 minutes in 2023. So that's like $23,000 per minute. By the time most people finish brushing their teeth, he's out-earned their entire shift, maybe their month, maybe their year. Why? He's not like working hard. His toothbrushing isn't more intense than yours is. It's just he has a totally different game because his inputs are different. And this goes back to that old rule, Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, which is like with AI and automation, it's not 80-20 anymore. It's 99-1, which is like the right decision at the right time will always outperform effort alone. And the 1% of things you choose to work on will now drive 99% of your results. And I wish it didn't mean you could not work hard. I saw a tweet the other day that's like, yeah, AI told me that I was going to work a lot less and there'd be a post-labor economy. And so I wouldn't have to work very much, which is why I'm confused as to why I'm staying up until 4 a.m. in the morning trying to figure this shit out. So I do think you're going to have to work harder than maybe ever, for longer than you could imagine, to find the right things to work on and to figure out how to keep up right now. At some point, it'll like plateau and stabilize. But hard work is not going to be enough. And if you had one truth, it's that you have to obsess on what you're working on. And only and after how hard you are working on it. You know, I don't think there's ever been a better moment to build an AI first business and eat every existing market's lunch, because the incumbents are too busy putting out fires, sitting in meetings, slapping AI first on their pitch decks instead of actually building things. Like that's going to be your edge. While they talk about it, you quietly wire AI into every workflow and make their moat look like a puddle. But the real question isn't, will AI replace humans? It's going to in so many ways we can't even imagine right now. The better question is, what parts of being human are worth doubling down on? Because that's where the value goes, right? If intelligence is cheap, then judgment probably matters more. If content is infinite, then what type of content means more? If perfection is standard, then authenticity is probably what we're chasing. If every job invented in the 20th century is getting threatened by AI. But I do think the age of AI doesn't erase humanity. If we do this right, it forces you to define it. And that's a terrifying gift that most people, by the way, will not do. Most people, and I see them everywhere. I mean, we have one company where we have, I don't know, 100-ish employees. We have many other companies where we have hundreds or thousands of employees. I have a lot of surface area where I get to see how people are interacting with AI. And the truth of the matter is, too many people are outsourcing your brains to AI. And they're not even using it in a creative way. It's like AI sucked their creativity out of them, even in the way they interact with it. They just asked, write me a YouTube script. Okay. What about this? What about write me a YouTube script on AI? Use the voice of Bukowski. I want it to be dark and edgy and deep. I want you to imagine what it might be like if you were someone who's never touched AI before, like a truck driver philosopher. Can you write me a V1 of that? And then comb through it and then pull out the best parts and then add, I also want you to add the best psychological pieces ever created, a mixture of like movie examples of it for like visual effect and simultaneously from the best schools in the world on why AI will actually zap our creativity from us. Which script do you think is better? Is the AI different? No, I just haven't outsourced my brain entirely to a robot I barely trust. So I guess I want to leave you with this. Do not go find the career. Do not go just find the hack with AI. Go find your curiosity. Go do something absolutely unhinged. Do it for the plot. Come creative. String together experiences that have never been strung together before. Be in real estate, but write poetry. Be in finance, but study jujitsu. Vibe code, but get some fucking vitamin D, you know? Go touch the world. Because magic happens from the men who became obsessed with calligraphy, Scandinavian furniture, complex code, and beautifully simple computers. That's Steve Jobs, by the way. Creativity doesn't come from normal things. That's what makes it creative. Like, contemplate your mortality, the fact that you're going to die. Because to know that eventually your star will fall should make you want to blaze, you know? And if you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who's wrestling with the same questions, because I think it needs to be all humans united against the robots. Until then, I'm Codie Sanchez. I'll see you next week on the Big Deal Pod. Let me know what you guys thought about this one and if I yelled at you too much. But really, just don't outsource to ChatGPT. Have you seen who runs that thing? Sam Altman, Lizard Man. You know, keep your humanity. The average marketing major makes somewhere between $60,000 to $80,000 a year. The average skilled trades worker after they graduate can make upward of $75,000 to $100,000 a year. Does every kid have to go to university? Student debt in the US is at all-time high record levels. You had gone to college, you paid all this money, you had these fancy jobs, and then you're like, the thing is, Mom, I want to go be a window cleaner. Like, moms don't love that.
The tide is turning in this country, and people are starting to realize sitting in the office all day isn't for me.
For a lot of people, it doesn't make them happy being behind a screen. Why does it feel like we're working harder and we're getting no further in this country? What the fuck's going on? Hey, it's Codie Sanchez, and welcome back to the Bigdeal podcast. For those who don't just want to be rich, but free and do what it actually takes to get there. I love this podcast because I love talking to friends about how they made their millions and helping business owners solve their problems. It's fulfilling. I love sharing all the secrets. But when I can't meet in person, there's only one tool I use. It's called Riverside. Riverside ensures I can talk to someone anywhere in the world, recorded in 4K, so the quality of the video matches the quality of the humans you're listening to. Riverside records separate audio and video tracks so we can easily cut out those awkward interruptions that are my least favorite part of interviews. They have in-platform editing software based off a 99% accurate AI transcription. And if that's not simple enough, they take AI one step further for their show notes. It summarizes your entire content into an SEO optimized description, and chapters all automatic. Saves me a ton of money. So you can use Riverside for podcast interviews, panel discussions, presentations, webinars, more. And best of all, it's simple. Try Riverside for yourself with link in the description. Use code CODY for an exclusive discount. I get a deal, you get a deal. The contrarian idea this week is that blue-collar workers might actually be happier than white-collar workers. And what if they're actually starting to make more money? There's this quote from Mike Rowe that I loved that said, people in trade work are balanced people who do unthinkable work. And they have this amazing sort of symmetry to their life because of it. And Mike Rowe should know because he ran dirty jobs for, I don't know, probably a decade. And the research actually goes to show that 86% of blue-collar workers are satisfied with their jobs. So they're not only happier, I think a lot of them are probably more skilled in their fields than white-collar workers today. Let's look at the data. And we found some really interesting things when it comes to, are you happier if you work with your hands versus not? So are you happier being traditionally blue-collar versus white-collar? And the statistics are actually fascinating. Like, for instance, 86% of blue-collar workers are satisfied with their jobs in this survey. You can see it linked below. In fact, a bunch more people are applying for trade schools instead of vocational schools, more than 16% increase in vocation-focused community colleges since 2018. And, you know, there was this quote from this guy, Alex Cohen, that I just loved. We can throw it up on the screen here, basically, that said, the average blue-collar trade worker is 10x more skilled than the average FANG product manager. Now, I mean, skilled is in the eye of the beholder, but this hit home for me because student debt in the US is at all-time high record levels. We are having universities funded by our parents' tax dollars, our tax dollars, while we spend our lives paying them off because it is the only type of debt that is non-recourse, meaning that if you go bankrupt, guess what? Your student loan debt follows you. Yet we have told an entire generation or two or three of kids that the only way for them to progress in society is for them to go to traditional universities that cost tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to get the good white-collar job that your parents didn't have because they actually spent their time trying to make your life better. And so they worked hard so you have an easier life, right? That's what my parents always told me. And yet we're getting out of these four-year institutions and we're in a 9 to 5 that is really like an 8 to 7, commuting longer distances than ever. The average commute has increased by 30% in the US since 2020, and increasingly not making more money with wages stagnating as well for most white-collar workers. So I started to dive into what the fuck's going on and why does it feel like we're working harder and we're getting no further in this country? And I think one of the reasons is this. We were told white-collar jobs were good, and yet were we just a cog in a machine? And so we went to the data and we found out a couple of different things that are fascinating. One, that 86% of blue-collar workers are happy with their job. They're happier on average than white-collar workers, who 50% on average say that they do not like their jobs. We're finding, in fact, that these trade and vocational schools have a stigma with the younger generations, that 74% perceive that vocational schools over a traditional four-year university are a good idea. And that 79% of people said their parents wanted them to go to college, while only 5% say they wanted them to go to vocational school. So our parents are telling us, go rack debt. The government's saying your tax dollars are going to go towards universities, but you don't really get any benefit of that. The universities get to increase their prices by double digits every year. And oh, by the way, you're going to have to pay it off for, 5 or 10 years on average, and be happy about it because now you're educated and you're going to have all this opportunity. The contrarian idea this week is that you'd be better off going to a vocational school. That's the idea. That in fact, it seems like they're happier. And look at the average wage between a marketing grad at an average institution and a skilled trades worker from a vocational school. The average marketing major makes somewhere between $60,000 to $80,000 a year. The average skilled trades worker after they graduate can make upward of $75,000 to $100,000 a year. So if you're happier and you make more money and you get a little bit more vitamin D and less LED blue screen, I think there might be something here. And I realized this week because I went to a coal mine with a couple friends of mine where I went, 650 feet down, 4 miles underground. There's only 2 entrances into the coal mine. And going in, I had all these ideas, you guys, God, these poor guys. This looks like such hard work. Are they safe? Am I going to be safe down there? Can't believe we're still doing this. Can't machines do it? Then the weirdest thing happened. First of all, one of the miners, when I was down there, when I asked him, I said, hey, why do you do this? And he said, well, I've been doing it more than 30 years. And I said, okay. What made you want to do it? He said, well, my dad did it. I said, all right, that makes sense. You followed in your father's footsteps. And he goes, yeah, but it's more than that. Let me tell you why. Now, right before this giant machine had plowed through a wall. It's called cross punching. So imagine the ceiling's only 5.5 feet tall. You have to walk. It's called a coal miner's walk. You walk hunched over to the side with your head down and to the left and your hands behind your back to support your hips. And so I'm hunched over, walking 4 miles in underneath the ground, 650 feet below the surface, thinking that this place was a little dark and scary. And then this huge machine claws through a wall across from me and punches through, collecting coal, sort of sparking a little bit, and this wild noise and the ground shaking. And then it pulls back and it grabs the coal back into it. And when I talked to the coal miner right after we had seen this, he said, you know why I do this? Do you know why I work in the coal mines? He goes, go stand over there. So I walk over 5 feet where the machine had just been. And he said, that ground that you're standing on right now, no man has ever stood there before. You know who else can say that? Astronauts. He goes, some people go to the sky, some people go underground. 2 different types of explorers. And I thought about that as I was watching these guys. You get a little dirt on your face. You've got these big, huge machines. They're pretty big guys with lots of muscles. Now they're quiet. I went over to a group of them and I was joking with them and said, you guys want a picture? And they kind of smiled and looked at me and looked away because they didn't. And when I talked to one of the lead foremen, let's call him, I said, they're kind of quiet guys. They don't say a ton. And he said, well, have you met a lot of farmers? We don't say many words. We just do many tasks. And the coal mine was sort of filled with these short, crisp sentences, the likes of which those of us who podcast and talk all day for a living on Zoom and have turned into knowledge workers where the words that come out of our mouth equate to the amount of money we make. We don't understand this world. We don't understand a world in which somebody would point and tell you that I do this job because no man has ever walked there before, and really say nothing else besides that. And, as I was talking to another group of them about what's happening down below, they said, where else besides the military can you find a group of hardened men doing hard things together, where one decision impacts every other human, and thus you have to operate as a team and as a unit as opposed to an individual? How many of you feel more connected than ever? Like you've got a tribe, an incredible community of people, like you're never alone, like you're not isolated, like you wish you could be on your phone more. I think the answer is not very many of us feel like that. These guys had this community built in. I remember a quote, the fastest way to long friendships are hard times. The fastest way to short friendships are meaningless times. It's probably why your high school friends, your college friends kind of come and go. It was short, sweet, beautiful moments, not iron sharpens iron. I thought about that a lot with these coal miners. And as I went deeper, a few other things came to mind. These guys do this job for 30
40, 50 years or more. They don't retire. And I asked one of them why, and he said, you'd have to pull my cold, dead body out of here. And he said, because in a world where we're all stuck to our phones, you can't get service down here. So you're down there for 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts sometimes, no service whatsoever. Like, can you guys imagine a more different life? And yet, I was talking to another guy who they call Strawberry, and his statement was fascinating. He's like, if you watch news stories about us, it's about how dangerous it is, about how bad it is. I bet if you tell your friends you went down to a coal mine, they're going to say, well, was it toxic? Well, did they have problems with coal dust? They won't realize that 1/3 of the world is driven by energy derived from coal. So you turn off coal mining and you take away 1/3 of the world's energy. Think about that for a second. And in a part of Appalachia where the average income is below poverty level, coal miners make 6 figures a year. An incredible job that's hard and dirty. But just because it's hard and dirty, does that mean it's bad? When did clean fingernails equate to happy lives? And I think the point of the matter is here that they might not. I want you to speak to Brandon, who is the founder of a company that I am now one of the biggest investors in. I just bought a company called Resi Brands that I co-own now with the founders. And it's a franchise company for people doing trade labor. And I want you to hear from Brandon something that I've realized and become really passionate about, that the dirty work is often the important work.
Bring the band in. Let's go.
Brandon, I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
I think we were sold a lie that being vitamin D deprived keyboard monkeys was the way to go, that we wanted to sit in Excel behind a screen in a cubicle working for somebody else all day, when in reality, there might be more joy found outside. I wasn't sure though. Then I started meeting people like you. So really quickly, tell them where you came from and what you're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. My career started, went to University of Arkansas, graduated there in 2017, and went straight into corporate world. Walmart headquarters in Bentonville, Arkansas. There's no windows at the headquarters. They're working on it. They're building a new campus, but that's soon. From there, I knew I wanted to be there, but I knew it wasn't for long term. So I came back to Austin, jumped into the financial world, kind of like you, kind of in an analyst role, and I was in an office by myself all day, and it was tough. And I knew that wasn't it for me either. This is like classic millennial, right? Jumped then to the live music business. That was in December of 2019 and got laid off 6 months later because COVID, live music doesn't work. That's when Pinks was started in June of 2020. You're absolutely right. Like the cool jobs coming out of college are the commercial real estate jobs, being a lawyer, being a doctor, doing whatever. And there's something wrong with those jobs. It just wasn't for me. So within 2 months of starting Pinks and Carter and I buzzing around town in an '04 Chevy Tahoe, just cleaning windows.
Yeah, explain to him what Pinks is, because you're wearing if you guys could see him on YouTube, he's looking fly right now. He's got on what I actually said to Carter. I was like, yeah, this is a great hipster uniform. He was like, excuse me, this is timeless. This is timeless. And it is. It's like what I would describe as sort of a classic, maybe 1950s inspired, 1960s inspired tradesman uniform that's beautifully designed for a window cleaning service that you two started.
That's exactly right. And that was the whole purpose of Pinks, is we wanted to flip the script on blue collar. So yeah, you're exactly right. Pinks we're a window cleaning company. We do exterior cleaning, pressure washing, gutter cleaning, soft washing, all of that. And basically started just Carter and I buzzing around town, doing it all the work ourselves. Within 2 months of us starting this exterior cleaning company, branding it out because we knew we wanted to flip the script on blue collar and tell a different story that, hey, this is a great job. It's fun. It's cool. Within 2 months of us starting it, we told ourselves, if our old jobs call us back and offer us a job back with even double the salary, we're not going back.
We're telling her pound sand.
Yeah.
Wait a second. So what did your moms say when you told them that you were leaving? You had gone to college, you paid all this money, you had these fancy jobs, and then you're like, the thing is, well, I want to go be a window cleaner. Like, moms don't love that.
No. Well, our moms are amazing, and they were supportive from the very beginning. It was a lot of our mentors that told us, hey, when are you going to get a real job? Hey, do you really want to spend your 40 hours cleaning windows and power washing driveways? And we had to fight that. And we were super insecure to start off because we bought that lie that the good job is commercial real estate guy, the finance guy, the lawyer guy, whatever. And we had to get over ourselves, and we had to die to ourselves, die to our pride to really believe what we were doing, that without the blue collar services, our cities would be an absolute mess.
Absolutely.
And so
fair.
I think we said that at the very beginning, but we didn't actually believe it till 3 months in.
Yeah. Well, what was interesting is I rode around with you guys and, cleaned some windows. I think I did a pretty good job, actually.
You were amazing.
What I noticed, and we've felt it here even before, is we'll do, I don't know, 7 or 8 hours of work in the office here. Even podcasting, which people think is fun, and it is.
Yeah.
And then we will get out to film YouTube videos in the street.
Right.
It's in Austin. It's 102 degrees outside. We're sweating, makeup running off my face. And it's my favorite time of the day.
Yeah.
Because there is just nothing like being around other humans, actually moving your body and doing things. And I think we've forgotten that in this country. And, I think the interesting part is you could say, well, maybe Brandon and Carter are just weirdos. And these,
we're super weird.
You are so weird. But, 2 young, good-looking dudes, full capacity, intelligent, deciding to go in the trades, they must be weird. But then you've sort of amassed an army of people just like you.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the guy I met yesterday, the former Marine, who's now my best bud. You've brought other young men on who are skilled, and they're thrilled to be part of cleaning windows, which people might not even believe.
Yeah, the tide is turning in this country, and people are starting to realize maybe sitting in the office all day isn't for me. I just think about how we're created as human beings. We're designed to connect. We're not designed to just sit in a room by ourselves or work from home and just be in our room all day by ourselves, behind a 11-inch screen. That's why we created Pinks. That's why we're franchising the business, because we want to get people out of that. But as far as our laborers go, whether it's our franchisees or guys in the field, the personality is guys that said, hey, they're young dudes, college isn't for me, I want to do something different. Maybe they worked in a coffee shop or in a restaurant, but they're tired of showing up to the same place, interacting with the same kitchen staff every single day. While at Pinks and with a lot of other service companies, you have a lot of freedom. You get to get in the car, you're not with your boss, you get to buzz around town, help customers, you kind of own the relationship, and you get to make people happy by giving stellar service all over the city or all over the town. It's yours, and then you get tipped, and then you get to go wherever you want for lunch. And it's a great situation.
Yeah, you guys do a lot of stuff that I think is cool that usually tech companies did, which is you give guys some cash for lunch. They get to go wherever they want in town, but talk about why you do it from a couple different perspectives.
For sure. From a monetary perspective, we say $15 a day per guy, and it's so good for culture. Because normally a service member or service company guy, they pack their lunch, or one guy goes to McDonald's, one guy packs lunch, and they're not eating together.
They're just in the car.
Yeah.
It's hot. They're not engaging.
Or one guy's inside eating at McDonald's, one guy's in the truck eating a sandwich he brought.
Yeah.
We want the guys to commune together because, again, it's a core belief. We're supposed to be together. We're better together than apart. Also, just what it does for our workers, when we pay for their lunch, it shows that we care. And it's just one less decision that they have to make for the day.
Yeah.
We try to just limit the decisions that they have on their plate. And it's just great for retention. It's good for so many reasons. I think we spent $40,000 on lunches last year, but it's worth every damn penny because our guys stay, they like what they do, they feel a freedom. And one of the best parts is when guys come into a restaurant wearing the Pinks get up, it's marketing.
Yeah.
We get a lot of clients just from guys buzzing around town, eating lunches at places, wearing the uniform.
One of our sayings is you want to get paid like a pro, dress like a pro.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that has been lost in trades and services is we've lost the pro mentality.
Right.
And so I think this idea of dressing a certain way, if you want to be taken a certain way, is really critical. The human brain gauges people in less than a millisecond. And so in less than 1 second, you have a chance to have your very first impression. And if your first impression is, I've got on this kind of smart, cool uniform, and I take care of myself personally, and I've got this cool car behind me, well, then you're probably going to attract a different level of person.
Every interview we do, we're wearing this.
Yeah.
And it sets a tone for our employees. But also when our employees put on the uniform, it does something for them mentally.
Yeah.
It's I'm showing up. It's time to work. I got the uniform on. It's time to get to it.
I wonder how much of that is also like similar to the military, actually, because my husband, obviously in the military for a long time, and I used to joke with him and call it an outfit. And he was like, just kind of got to him. And he was like, this is a uniform. And he kind of explained to me what a uniform meant. He's like, when I am wearing this, I am a representative of the armed forces. And it means something to be able to wear this uniform. Like we screen for it and there's a reputation associated with it. And I think often in the era post 2020 of COVID, where we all wore pajamas for most of our year, we've lost that, right? Like you forget what it means to put on something that changes you into a different character for a moment.
Absolutely. And it builds so much trust within yourself, trust that, hey, my team member's wearing the same thing as me, and then trust in the community.
Yeah.
People know the Pink's uniform, and when our guys show up, they know they're going to get a friendly person that's on time, that is reliable, and that is background checked.
Let's talk about your worst day as a Pink's employee. Like I think sometimes we can cherry pick things. Like there is a lot of very hard things about the trades and doing things with your work and manual labor. Like give the tough side of it too, the cons.
Oh my gosh. So many tough days. Whether just like the physical labor of it, where you're up at 7 or 6 on a job site, on a construction site, but you're getting held up because you didn't go through the safety protocol with the superintendents, and now you have to sit there for 2 hours and just wait and go through this stupid training. That is a terrible day. Also, when it's 110 outside and you have 5 hours of work left and you're chafing and it sucks and it's hot and the customer's picky, that's no fun. I would say one of our hardest days, but then that turned good, was when it was at the very beginning. We were at one of Carter's friend's house. We drove all the way to Houston to clean a house because, early on, you'll take any job.
Yeah.
And so we drove to Houston, and we were cleaning one of Carter's friends from high school's houses. And he was in the commercial real estate world, and he was working from home because it was in the heat of COVID. And both of us, as we're cleaning basically a peer's house, felt super insecure. This guy is in his home office, beautiful house in the Heights, and he's like cranking away on calls and emails. And we are like, excuse me, can I clean the window behind your desk? And all that. So we get back in the car, and both of us express this insecurity we felt. And it was a low. We're like, man, he's crushing it, doing these commercial real estate deals, and we are cleaning his house while he's working. So we drove home, and as we're driving, we're just like thinking, like talking to each other, praying, and we're just like, man, how cool is it that we got to add value to someone's house? How many of our friends can say that they got to add value to their buddy's house and like do him like a favor, like do a service for him that was efficient, affordable, and that he needed and wanted? And so from that moment, like that low day, we kind of flipped it in our brains and said, actually, like we're all in on this thing. Like we can do this. We're proud of what we do. We're proud to help a friend. What's wrong with being a janitor? There's nothing wrong with it. And that's when it, like the bad day and the bad mental state flip for us is, like we've been talking about this whole time. We've been sold this lie that if you're in lawn maintenance, if you're a window cleaner, if you're a painter, if you're whatever, you're a second tier citizen.
Yep.
And it was that day that we believed, like, actually, this is amazing. This is useful. And we get to help people all over the city.
I was listening to a story the other day about Japan, and there are some cities in rural Japan that are shutting down because they don't have communal services, even just like a butcher shop.
Right.
They're missing like one butcher shop. And because of that, they can't get the core services they need. And so people are leaving cities entirely, which means the real estate that they have spent up their livelihood to afford is now worth nothing because there's no community around them. In this world where we're just starting to realize that a little bit of ownership, that a job that doesn't turn you into a robot, that having a community and a team and doing work that matters is actually the path to happiness.
So important.
Yeah, is rare. But I think do you think your generation gets it more than mine? You're like one generation below me. Are you seeing other people your age start to understand this?
We're seeing a lot of our friends start service companies.
Yeah.
Because they realize, one, I can make just as good, if not better money than if I was working in an office. Yeah. And two, I have so much more freedom over my life. And I feel like people nowadays, they're so tied to purpose, like purpose being tied to their work. If you like have a purpose-driven lifestyle, you're going to be way happier. we don't clean windows just to clean windows because we're so like passionate about cleaning windows, but we are passionate about helping our city, maintaining our city, and making customers really happy and excited. That's what drives us every day. It's not just cleaning for the sake of cleaning, but it's cleaning for the sake of the customer, cleaning for the sake of the betterment of our city and the prosperity of our city.
Do you remember what your worst day was when you were employed before you did Pinks?
Oh, man. I try to say no bad days, but that's just not true. I think it was when I was working in a financial firm and I was like an analyst and kind of just putting spreadsheets together. But I remember like most Sundays, I would get the Sunday scaries.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people listening feel that. And you're just like, gosh, I feel like there's more for me. So like there's not one specific day, but there was that feeling that I had every Sunday, every Monday, like I was a weekend warrior. I was just waiting for the weekend because then I was off. And I knew like deep in my heart that what I was doing was not it. Operating at what I felt was like 50% capacity of my brain and not feeling a lot of purpose, and then just being locked in the office every day. Like it was hard days. I would call my mom and she'd be like, hey, how's work? How's work, Brandon? And I would just kind of lie to her. I'd say, oh, mom, it's great. It's fine. But mommies, they got those spidey senses. She knew that I was struggling.
Yeah.
And she knew when to press, she knew when not to press, but she knew that I was in a tough place because I just wasn't fulfilled with work for the purpose, like from a purpose perspective, but also I am not firing on all cylinders in my brain. I'm only using half of what I feel like I have up there.
Yeah.
And those days were not fun.
You guys, as far as I understand it, you had a chance to sell the business entirely.
Yeah.
Like you could have pretty much kind of sold, moved on.
Right.
And you had some different options on the table. But instead of selling overall, you said, actually, we just want to bring more people into the fold.
Right.
We want, we're good at cleaning windows. That's what we like to do. We're good at branding and we like leadership.
Yeah.
And, maybe we don't know how to build a national business. And so you partnered with the company that I invested in, right? Regal Resolve. A lot of people, if they would have gotten a chance to maybe have some sort of bigger exit, they might have taken it. And people listening to you might be thinking, well, maybe he's just going to clean windows for a minute and then he's going to leave and he's going to go become a venture capitalist.
Right.
But you actually had a little bit of a window where something like that could have happened.
Sure.
Why continue to own the franchise locally too?
Yeah.
Actually go out into the field like I've seen you guys, get dirty like you do. Why keep doing that as opposed to cash out in some way, shape, or form? One,
we love our team.
Yeah.
Like here locally, like Pinks Austin is our baby. And we love our team. They do such a good job. And it's a fun mentorship opportunity. Business, we are in the people business and we love people, whether it's our customers or our employees. So we want to stay tight to that. That's like from a purpose perspective. It also prints cash, which also doesn't suck. We want to keep owning Pinks Austin because it just spits us cash every single month. And that's a great part of the income. The reason we wanted to partner with Resi Brands is because we feel like we are flipping the script on blue collar, trying to make it cool, trying to add purpose to it, trying to just brand it out. Like we said, like flip the script on blue collar. Resi Brands is doing that in franchising. I feel like 5 years ago, franchising, it was kind of for like the weirdo. Oh, you want this franchise?
Or like a
franchise?
McDonald's crumble cookie or something terrible for society, right? Like, yeah.
What Resi's doing with the support for the franchisee, the Connect Center, the marketing team, all that, it's so good for the franchisee.
Yeah, you guys are the ones that introduced me to them. And I remember texting you on this. I was like, what do we think about these guys? Yeah. Like, let's have download. And you told us. But I think the other part is like owner-operators. When I first met you guys, I was like, oh, they're in it. They get it. And Steven's the same way. He's like, I did this for 11 years before I started doing a franchise.
That's why we love Steven.
Yeah, he's in the game. And the other thing that's fascinating, Brandon, is like how many of the people in your group and his are faith-based?
A good amount. We're not like so like outward and like pushy about it.
Of course, yeah.
But if people ask about it, like we're not going to shy away. It's like, yeah, like we love Jesus.
Yeah.
And like God gives us purpose and we're all in. And those principles of being honest, doing the right thing, like being faithful with a little so that we can be faithful with a lot. Whatever resources we get, being a wise steward of them, like that just makes sense. That's good business practice. It happens to be in the Bible too. It works really well.
Were you dating? It's now your fiance, right?
Yeah, Kelsey.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
She's adorable. Were you dating her before you started Pinks?
No, we started dating
So you met her after
years.
you were a window cleaner.
after.
Was that hard? Was it like, did that hurt your social capital at all, basically?
Before I started Pinks, I feel like in the dating world, I was like less confident because I didn't have my career figured out. But it just turned out I was insecure. But when we started Pinks, we got over ourselves. I got over myself and just died in my pride. I feel like I gained confidence. And I was like, yeah, I'm a window cleaner. What's wrong with it? And it helped me in the dating world. I mean, now I'm engaged, so it worked, I guess.
It looks like you do well. I think a lot of times, for men, good, bad, or the other ways, you're judged often on job and earnings.
Right.
That's at least historically how it's been. So the status games would happen on the male side. But then, I just had another friend of mine in here, Andrew Wilkinson, who you met, and he's always like, God, your husband's such a manly man. And I'm back here, and a nerdy analyst. I think there is something really neat about the merging of the two, that you can have head, but you can also have, some dirty fingers.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, that's what I love about Pinks or just the service business in general.
Yeah.
Is if I want to go clean windows every day, I can do that.
Yeah.
But also if I want to work on strategy and figure out a growth strategy to get Pinks up into the Northeast or the Pacific Northwest, I can do that. Or coach franchisees, just jump on a call and talk to a guy in Palm Beach, Florida.
Yes.
This morning. Just coaching him up on how to quote a building and how to overcome some customer objection. I love talking about the not being fully used, because I feel like that's so much of our generation is people that are just working in an office and they have, they're probably working from home 3 days a week and they are not being fully used. Like they're working for really 3 hours a day, but they have to stretch out their work to make it an 8-hour day to make it look like to their boss that they're working. They got to appear online on Slack, so they're constantly moving their mouse and all that.
Well, is that true? Is that something that you guys had where they were tracking what's your work?
Probably not officially they had that, but I think as an employee of a big corporation, and there's a tiered management system, it feels like that. Whether that's a reality or not, I don't know. But I always felt like, oh, I got to be online or else I'm going to get a slap on the wrist or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's probably true. I think a lot of bosses probably go, what are you guys doing? And, get micromanaging about it. I know I've been there before too. And I think for a lot of jobs post the Industrial Revolution, where we became knowledge workers instead, we just flipped how we measure work. And so now, instead of measuring output, we didn't take the time to figure out how to measure output for knowledge workers. So we just said time.
Yeah.
We said, no matter what, no matter the output, your time has to be dedicated for this allotment.
Right.
This generation and mine are probably the first two generations that have fully felt this idea of knowledge work.
Yeah.
And to be candid, I don't think it makes us happy. And I'm not sure that the tracking is working.
Yeah. I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
But you follow Naval.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So he was on a podcast. I forgot when it was. But something I love that he talked about in this knowledge base. Well, now all the knowledge that there is out there is on the internet.
Yeah.
Or you can just chat GPT, what's the best way to do this? Or so the knowledge is there. But in the coming years, what he says is the valued commodity amongst employees or workers or business owners, it's judgment. We all have access to the same information, but what are the decisions we make based on the information? So judgment and wisdom and discernment, that's what we want to be as Pinks. Is we all have, it's easy. It's easy to get the information. What are we going to do with it? And how is that going to influence our future, the business's future, our franchisees' future, our employees' future, all of that.
I love it. If people want to hear more from you, where do they go?
Pinks Windows. You can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn. We're still figuring out the Twitter thing. Maybe you can help with that.
Absolutely. I will help with that. Also, phone number on your forehead.
Yes, it is there. If you need a window cleaning quote, holler here.
Actually, we joke about this as, clothes as business cards, which I think is really underdone in the trades.
Right.
It's like handyman service. Well, that's not a great name because you're never going to remember it.
Right.
And I think the way that people have done this historically in the trades is they go cutesy or a goofy saying, if it's cold outside, we've got your dad joke, right? Insert dad joke. But you guys said, no, we're going to have a premium brand.
Absolutely.
And we're going to treat this just like we would Apple if we were an Apple computer, but we happen to clean windows.
That's right. I've been thinking about this a lot lately because there's a lot of new brands popping up. There's a lot of big cleaning companies. If you have the decision to make your brand on clip art or Microsoft Paint or whatever it is, or you have the opportunity to hire an agency or do it yourself or whatever, I want it to be good. Like, if we're going to build it, let's build it right. And no one else in the service business is doing it. That's why we branded it out. And honestly, like, all credit to Carter. Carter's like the creative.
Carter's a little bit of like a mad marketing genius, isn't he?
Yes.
Like,
just like
Instagram videos are incredible. I can't believe I'm saying this about a window cleaning video, but candidly, like Pink's, what is the Instagram handle?
Pink's Windows.
Pink's Windows. It's hysterical. Like, you guys have that one with the Brady Bunch. We can actually show it right here.
Yes.
And first of all, you're going to get a bunch of female clients because it's like a bunch of young, good-looking dudes. They're going to be wanting you to be sweating.
That took so long to film. It took like 5. It took way too long.
Oh, it's incredible. Like, you all pop up in them. And then the other thing I thought was brilliant that you guys did from a marketing standpoint was the free neighborhood clean.
Oh, the comp clean of the week.
Comp clean.
Yes. Basically, the comp clean it's just a way to bless our community, but also have some fun and film it. And bring, like, whenever we do a comp clean, we don't like to go to a big poppin' restaurant. We want to go to the small mom and pop that everyone in the neighborhood knows or drives by every day, but that may not know, like, what it is they serve at the restaurant or whatever. So we like to make fun, engaging content. It's become a thing where, like, we've cleaned Mount Joy's tour bus.
Yeah.
I'm at ACL.
It's amazing.
We've done some stuff at Stubbs Barbecue, the venue, for another band. And so it's kind of become this thing, but we still love the mom and pop.
Well, yeah, the comp clean, just so you guys know, you guys do free cleans for neighborhood restaurants, and then you film them in a really cool little way.
And edit it. It's so silly.
It's great.
Yeah.
You were also in a movie.
Yes. Yes, we were. We were in Hitman. Glenn Powell wearing her shirt, which is like, what the heck? It happened 2 years ago. A costume designer that Carter knew reached out to him and said, hey, here's the concept of Hitman. We need a service company, for a few minutes of the movie. Can we use Pinks? And of course, our answer was, hell yeah, use Pinks. Like, of course. And so we got a picture of Glenn Powell like 2 years ago wearing her shirt. And so we've just been sitting on it. And then it was released this past week.
Good things will take time, huh?
Yeah.
Did you get to go on set or no?
No, we shipped him a shirt and that was our involvement.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's some more movies, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate you. And like, that's the whole goal of Pinks is we try to flip the script on blue collar. When you think of window cleaning, or when whoever in New York City or LA or Chicago, whoever thinks of window cleaning, we want you to think of one company, and that's Pinks. That's us. Because we're doing something different. We're bringing purpose and trying to flip the script.
Let's talk TikTokers and content for the deal of the week this week. This I thought was super interesting. So there's this girl that I follow, and she actually just got written up about in the Wall Street Journal. She's an electrician in Cornwall, New York, and she just shows like the day-to-day of what she does. And like, first off, she must be raking in so much money, because not only is she an electrician, you've been talking about how much money you can make doing this, but she's also making, and the Wall Street Journal said this, like $200,000 in like brand deals and things like that. So dual income, has a 9-to-5. Like, she seems like she's killing it.
The hashtag blue collar do 500,000 posts in the first 4 months of this year and is up 64% since 2023. It seems like blue collar is cool, basically, on TikTok. And that people, what it probably stems from. I mean, in a world where so many of us only know things like spreadsheets, computering, like cannot fix the oven if our life depends on it. Somebody who's capable with their hands. Let's watch this video really quick from Lex, the electrician, and see what's up. All right. Well, first of all, what you're seeing here is like a young woman. She's cute. She's cute. She's got like cute but wholesome outfits on. She's serious. She's doing these like big commercial electrician looking jobs, like hauling huge cables. Got a little dance in there because it's the TikTok. Mm-hmm. Looks like she could electrocute herself at any time. Doing it with nails on, too, because that's what your generation is into. Like nails that look like you can't do anything with, but she's doing it with. And she's serious. Like, this is a serious professional out there doing her thing. And what I think is amazing about this is basically we're shedding some light on work that without which you and I could not be doing this podcast right now.
Oh,
somebody built these lines, somebody ran a bunch of cables, and because of that, we can do this. How can you not only do trade work, but skip college? So she's making, let's say she's probably making 6 figures in her electrician job.
She actually didn't even skip college. She went to pre-med for 2 years, got her associate's degree, and was like, I'm not a people person. And then after her associate's degree stopped and became an electrician.
Fascinating.
And I wonder if I think she had family members that were electricians. And I think one good thing that's happening because TikTok and other social media platforms are kind of like amplifying blue collar work is it's showing people alternate job opportunities. Because my parents were great and they said if you want to go to vocational school, they were really, really into it. Where my mom lives, there's a pretty good program for people who want to become plumbers and electricians and things like that. But I feel like not that many people are given the opportunity or have parents or have anybody else that's telling them like, hey, these jobs are out there and they exist and they make good money.
You know, my husband always says like his favorite time was doing hood rat shit with his friends, which means when he was in the military, like kicking down doors and shooting guns and, you know, working out a lot. And I think for a lot of people, it doesn't make them happy being behind a screen. And so if we can now, you can't be what you can't see. If we can now see a bunch of people who are living lives where they make money with their hands, I think you're in my generation. I used to think, well, like, I guess you could be a physical trainer. That was like allowed if you wanted to do something with your body. You could be an athlete, you know, you could be in the military.
Yeah.
But at least my generation, we didn't think about the trades. My father's generation, definitely different. So I love this. Lex, the electrician, you look like a stud. And maybe you guys on social tag me the best trade and vocational people that you see on the internet. I want to continue to highlight people like you because I think you guys are doing the work. To close out the episode today, there's a quote from Marcus Aurelius that says, "You can't be a good man if you are incapable of violence." And what did that mean? Well, Jordan Peterson actually said something similar, which is a harmless man is not necessarily a good man. That a man who can commit violence but chooses not to is truly a good man. And I think about that a lot with these trade workers and with those people who have decided to take the hardened path. That in fact, maybe it's being able to commit violence. It's being able to do the hard, but choosing the other that leads to happiness and a better society for us. So this week, I hope I made you think a little bit with this episode. And if you're a parent out there, maybe ponder this a little bit. Does every kid have to go to university? Do we have to pay into institutions continuously that put us in roles that increasingly don't make us happy and don't necessarily make us more money? Is that a good idea? I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. It's something that I think about a lot because I am a Monday morning quarterback with kids because I don't have any of them. But I wonder if one day when I have them, what will my decision be? Will I be okay if my kid wants to go clean windows? If they want to go work in a coal mine? If they want to do the hard and dangerous thing? Or do I only feel pride in them if they have a title of CEO or a title of doctor behind them and do some big mental gymnastics in order to have a career? I don't know the answer to that, but I know that it's a question worth asking. Thank you for being here today. I think you are a big deal. You are a big deal to me, and that is why we do this podcast. So if you haven't already, please give us a little review. I think it's time for the word to get out that just because you're a tech worker doesn't mean you're better than a trade worker. So if you agree with me, now's the time to share the pod and give us a review.
That I have it, you know that I got it. Don't need to look all in the bag. Studying like this because I work so hard. I'm the best. I only speak facts.
Do you understand, Rich? This is really, really critical in my mind for service businesses and so underutilized. 9 out of 10 small businesses undercharge. When was the last time you raised your prices? So expensive things to people who can afford them. I'm going to tell you how to make any of these make sense to you so you can apply it to your business and your life right after this. This is the Big Deal Podcast, and I'm Codie Sanchez. Welcome back. Today, we're talking to you builders about how to make more money. I call this the sell things to rich people, they pay more. And I know that's true, and it's cute, but is it so easy? Having sold clients who are both not so rich and rich, there is a truth to this meme, which I want to read to you. You can see it here. It says, $500 client. I just feel as though with this investment I'm about to make in you, that you should understand how our lives are about to change. And I need results and you need to bring them. And I'm entrusting you with our livelihood and lives. $50,000 client. Money sent, thanks. Anybody who's been in business kind of chuckles at this, except it's true. Now, here's why I understand the $500 client. You have to remember that they need that $500 to do something for them. They actually have a visceral need. That might be what's called last dollar for them. They need the return on that dollar to be so significant that they hold you to a level that is actually irrational. And so you don't want to just sell things to rich people because you're greedy. You want to sell things to rich people, maybe even because you're not the best to begin with. In order to sell things to people who don't have a lot of money, you have to sell a huge amount of volume to be able to live. Volume is hard to get when you're not a very good operator. So rich people want you to sell them something. Remember that and use it to your advantage. There are two worlds of entrepreneurships. One world, scraps, selling cheap products to price-sensitive customers who churn the moment they find a discount. In the second world, sell fewer, better things for more money. That volume game can work. It's built some of the biggest business empires out there, Walmart, Amazon, McDonald's. Three small issues, though. The game is brutally competitive. It requires you to be airtight in your operations and infrastructure, and even the best eventually move into higher margin products. So a different path, sell expensive things to people who can afford them. The question you need to ask yourself is, when was the last time you raised your prices? Our guess, 9 out of 10 small businesses undercharge. Why? Scary not to. If you start to realize wealthy customers want to be sold, your entire business can change. The question though is, what do rich people actually buy? There are 5 reasons rich people buy, only 5. Every single reason falls into this hierarchy that I call the rich desire pyramid and teach to all of our portfolio companies. Number 1, status. Status means make me look important. It's the top of the pyramid. How do you sell it? You position your business as the best, not the cheapest. When they ask, well, can I get a discount? You say, well, you could, but you might regret buying from that guy. Why don't you just pay a pro now as opposed to regret an amateur later? You showcase expertise, exclusivity, and premium service. What are companies that do this really well? Because I always like to imitate, then I iterate, then I innovate. So you might want to imitate some of the marketing of Hermes, limited run purses that are mostly handmade, although I hear there's some confusion about that by China right now, but let's stick with the plot, which is one person makes each item from start to finish. It's special and it's a signal. When you carry a Birkin bag, you are saying something. No one who buys a Birkin bag is trying to ask for discounts. This is a customer that actually wants to pay more for the alligator extra ridiculous thing on top. Except, is it ridiculous if they want to pay for it? In fact, I think you have to flip your brain about that. Number 2 in the pyramid is convenience. That means make my life easier. So if you think about rich people, if they have an infinite amount of money, they can buy almost anything, right? Except more time. So if you can do something that allows them to buy back their time, they will pay you for it, potentially up to a complete no cap at the top, which I really like. So how do you sell something like this? Well, you eliminate friction. That would be things like white glove service, subscriptions, concierge treatment, private jets, fast and expensive. For instance, if you go to all major airlines, but we'll use Delta as an example, Delta has really 2 classes of tickets, right? They have main cabin and they have first class. So you might think that the really special people go to first class. Well, actually, the really special people go to first class and then they get Delta Concierge, which is somewhere between $500 and $1,000 for somebody to get them from the front of the airport, drive them around to the back, let them load up first and privately, and it's for no different experience. No different product is sold there as far as the seat. It is literally just that it increases convenience for them. So that is what you need to think about in your business. If right now you have a landscaping service, why wouldn't you add a white glove offering to the top? What might white glove mean? It might mean, hey, one of our portfolio companies, we said, what about for new homeowners in really expensive suburban neighborhoods? What if you as their landscaping service said, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, I know you're new here. We're happy to give you a landscaping quote and to do your landscaping for you. Also, we have a group of 5 other of the top tier service providers in your area. So if you need somebody for cleaning, I can make a recommendation. If you need somebody for window washing, roofing, interior design, we have a Rolodex, and I can literally do a white glove introduction for you to all of those people. And what do you do on that? You actually take an affiliate cut on everybody. So this is not as scalable, but remember, because you have big margins and because you create convenience, you can have a very sexy business doing white glove service of existing services. By the way, if you're building a business right now and you're stuck or you want to break out to the next level, maybe you're not where you want to be today. Believe me, I've been there many, many times. I want you to know I got you. We help thousands of business owners a year figure out how to scale to the next level. One of my favorite mentors said, every level you have, there's just a higher level and a higher devil. And so if you've been in business for a while and you're doing 6, 7, or 8 figures, there's probably one thing standing in the way of your next level. That's why we host growth and scale workshops 4 times a year throughout the year in Austin, in Miami, in San Diego, and you may be a fit to come to one of them. If it sounds interesting to you to get help on how to scale your business to the next level, you can reach out to my team at the link in the show notes. We believe in you builders, but we also believe that it's a lonely road and you can't do it by yourself. Number 3, exclusivity. Let me in, keep others out. That's what they're saying. This is why there are private members clubs. This is why there are golf courses, because rich people want to feel special, good, bad, or otherwise, like them or don't like them. This is something that people want when they have a lot of money to buy. So how do you sell it? Restrict access, invite-only services, VIP tiers. This creates demand. Think about it like, I don't know, have you guys ever heard of Tiger 21? Tiger 21 is a fascinating community. You have to have $20 million in net worth to be in a community that you pay $30,000 for a year, and they validate your income. They will not let you in unless they can validate your income and also your net worth. How fascinating is that? And then you're in a room a couple times a year with only other people that are worth $20 million or above. They don't want any other people in it, so they charge you a premium for only allowing access to other people just like them. We can hate this and think it's elitist, or we can use it and get rich. It's really up to you. Number 4, privacy. Give me some space. So often, once you have a lot of money, other things come with that. For instance, now that I'm public on the internet, there's lots of people that get doxxed, right? So they want to make sure that they're protected. There are entire services for scrubbing all of your information off of the internet. There are services that scrub your businesses off the internet. Don't tell people about them. Supposedly there's quite a few celebrities who scrub their children's photos everywhere off the internet. And so as you get more famous and as you get more money, people want things from you. If you're famous, maybe they want your picture, they want access to you, whatever. If you have more money, they want some of it. And so if you can create this privacy buffer space, then you can make a lot of money. So how do you sell it? Well, you offer high trust, high security, high privacy services. A way to do this across the board might be like, I have a cleaning company and I only clean really high-end customers' houses. So all of my cleaning ladies sign NDA policies. They make sure that they understand owner preferences. You can tell us how you want to be communicated with by our cleaners. So you can do this because you allow absolute discretion, which builds loyalty. This is really, really critical in my mind for service businesses and so underutilized. And maybe if you don't have a lot of money right now, this one doesn't make sense to you, but I'm going to tell you how to make any of these make sense to you so you can apply it to your business and your life right after this. 5, scarcity. Make it hard to get. So let's think about this for a second. Why do rich people want something to be hard for other people to get? Well, they want to feel special, right? So at a certain point, if you have all the money in the world, it's not just about other people thinking highly of you. It's about you being able to tell a story about a thing you were able to do or get or see that somebody else couldn't get. It's almost like a rich person pioneer, right? They're like, I want to be the first one to plant my flag on a foreign land. So how do you sell this? You limit availability. You do this on purpose. And let me tell you how rare this is for entrepreneurs to do. What do entrepreneurs want to do? Sell more things to more people again and again and again because they want to make more money. It actually doesn't make sense in your head commonsensically to think, well, maybe I should sell less things at a higher price. But that is what this is. And how you do this is waiting lists, premium tiers, applications, all drive demand. Think about waiting for the brand new shoe drops, or we talked about Birkin bags before. In fact, you want to actually have things that are a real commodity, which means they're limited in quantity. I met a guy, I was at this event, and this was an event for a bunch of rich people. And funny thing about rich people is they have weird hobbies. And so this guy in particular had just exited his second or third SaaS company. And I'm sitting down with him and I'm like, what are you working on right now? Lord, do I wish I hadn't asked that question because I got a soliloquy on crystal marketplaces. He had just started a crystal marketplace. Now this isn't your ordinary woo-woo Austin crystal. He was showing me his crystal collection, which was like, I don't know, $1 million crystals. And I felt like that meme where that like guy is whispering into the girl's ear and she's just dying on the inside as she's listening to him. And that was me with crystals this day. And so he went on and on about how he's bought this $1 million crystal and it couldn't be anywhere else. And this is so special. And I feel like he might have missed the plot about what women care about today because he appeared to be single. But why would he care about that? Because there's only one crystal just like that in the world. There's only one diamond just like that in the world. They're buying into a feeling, a position, a lifestyle. They aren't price sensitive, they're value sensitive. And once you understand this philosophy, you'll be able to sell to rich people. If you want to sell to wealthy customers, you got to ask yourself the rule of 2. Does your offer hit at least 2 of these categories? If you're selling convenience, add exclusivity. If you're selling status, add scarcity. If you're selling privacy, add convenience. Rich people want to spend money, give them a reason to. Here's the difference between the 2. Selling cheap means you're going to have price sensitive, high churn. You're going to have harder to scale volume game. You're going to have competitors everywhere. Selling rich means they'll pay a premium for the right product, no price shopping if they trust you, and will keep spending if you deliver. The difference between the 2 is really one singular idea. Do you understand rich people? And if right now you're like, oh, this sounds great, Cody, but I've never even met a person who could buy a Birkin bag or wouldn't think a $30,000, $50,000, or a $200,000 purse is criminal, then I need you to do something. You see, what changes is when we are around other people who have money, it opens up our eyes to what is possible. And so what I'd like you to do is I would like you to go to somewhere that rich people are. If you're in LA, go to Beverly Hills. I just want you to walk around. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to do anything. Go to a luxury shopping mall. See how they engage with their customers there. Try to engage with the people who are there and see how they treat you versus other customers. What can you do to change the way that they treat you? If you dress a certain way, will they treat you differently? Go and sit in the lobby of the most expensive hotel you can find. Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons. Dress how you think is appropriate. You can bring your own food and drink if you want to, be sneaky about that. But I want you to watch the people coming in and out of the lobby. How do they engage? If you get a chance, sit and chat with them. One of my friends, Jesse Eitzler, when he had no money before he married Sarah Blakely and they became billionaires and he started NetJets and a bunch of big companies, he used to go to the Beverly Hills Hotel in California. And he had no money then, but he would spend the little money that he had buying the cheapest item on the lunch menu in order to sit at lunch in Hollywood and meet as many people as he could. And every single day he would have a goal of engaging with 1 or 2 people there. And then he would see, how do these people engage in life? How do they think about things? How do they build? How do they get opportunities? And he credits those conversations with some of his path to becoming a billionaire. So get around rich people, sell to rich people, you will make more money. See you next week. I believe you are capable of building big, beautiful companies.
Hey, I have something special for you for being such a loyal listener because you're here with me all the time. I get asked by a bunch of you, how do I tell if I should buy a business or not? Should you buy a business or not? What price should you buy a business at? How do you structure your deal? I got you, fam. So I'm going to gift you our deal calculator. Every time I look at a deal, I grab the numbers, plug it in here, and see how much money I could make or lose if I did a good or bad deal. So this is my gift to you. And if you're serious about buying a business, we want to help you. You can talk to my team about if you're a fit for our business buying community or curriculum. No matter what, here's your free gift. And if you need a hand to hold, I got you too. Hey crew, this is so cool. The podcast is growing like crazy, and it's only actually because of one thing, you. I don't know if you know this, but the only way the Big Deal Pod grows is when you share it with somebody else. We don't do ads. We don't do pay for play. We don't go on other people's podcasts and talk about it. So if you think there was something helpful here, if we made you money, we made you think about your business or life differently, the most beautiful thing you can do for me is share it. And the most beautiful thing you can do for someone that you care about is to share it with them, help them grow alongside you. So please share the pod. That's how we grow. And also tag me on anything you share. I love resharing other builders across Instagram, Twitter, and all other platforms. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're super important to me.
Everybody seems to be either incredibly excited or vilifying AI and saying that it is going to take over everything. It is going to mean you're out of a job. You won't know how to keep up. And I think most people have it wrong. I think in the future, there will be billion-dollar companies made with one person and an army of AI agents underneath it. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think you can make a ton of money with AI.
But I think you got to remember that this is not a human. It is a tool for humans. And that is how you win and make more money than ever. Welcome back to the Big Deal Podcast. I'm Codie Sanchez. And this week, we're going to do something different. I'm going to walk you through how I think AI is making me 2 to 3x more productive, more profitable, more successful, and how it's working so well that I hired a full-time employee, this guy, whose name is Chadwick, to integrate AI into everything we do inside of our business. Let's get into it today. A bunch of tactics about how you can do this exact same thing. You guys ready? Let's do it. All right. First, I want to talk about whisper flow. This is super cool. I don't know about you, but I actually really don't text very often anymore. I almost do all voice to text on my phone. I'm like that annoying person that's always voice to texting. Well, there is this company called Whisper Flow. And basically what it does is it turns your computer into voice to text for anything, except it doesn't suck. When you want to say fuck, you can say fuck. And that actually just shows up on your keyboard, and it doesn't mean duck. It never meant duck. Nobody ever means to say duck, including myself. You can just be a little smarter with your voice to text. And so it's pretty incredible. Right now, all I do on my computer, since I already downloaded Whisper Flow, I think it's like $4 a month or something, you guys. If I wanted to type something out for it, for instance, I would just press FN on my little keyboard, and I would say, okay, I would say, let's say, I would hold down FN, and I would say, hey, I'm right now on the Big Deal Podcast, and Codie's saying she can make me a ton of money with AI. Are you absolutely positive about that? Can you please tell me? And then you're going to see what it writes. Well, what's fascinating about this is a couple different things. One, you guys didn't hear me say period, exclamation, quotes, change names. I didn't say any of that. And yet, what did this write? This is so fascinating to me. It says it perfectly. Hold down FN. It capitalizes FN. It does a comma before a quote for hey. It spells the Big Deal Podcast right and my name because it's intelligent. It uses contextual learning in order for you to speak it, as opposed to iPhone does not do that. I don't know why. It also has the right punctuation throughout. And I pretty much use this nonstop. I use it also in my email. So I think this makes you anywhere from 200 to 300% faster in how you type. No longer will you actually have to be a quick typer. If you're older, like my dad, who kind of types like this with his little fingers far away from his phone, he in the future won't even need to do that. He'll just hold down FN, say whatever he wants to say, and send it out. When I tell you that I'm now the bane of my employee's existence with the amount of stuff I can get done with Slack, I will tell you that is actually true. And one of the fastest ways that I use this Whisper Flow is also via email. So I want to get into my second favorite AI tool right now. This is called Superhuman. And Superhuman I've been on forever. It's an email platform, so it kind of lays on top of whatever your email it is. Doesn't mean you have to get rid of Gmail or Yahoo or whatever the kids use these days. It's just a layer. And you can forward all your emails to it. I forward like 4 or 5 emails to it because I have lots of different variations of my email. And it's brilliant. So what you do is basically you do everything by little commands on your keyboard. And I'm an ex-finance gal, so like I love it. It's called a shortcut. I love a finance shortcut. So you open up this like database in here basically, or this command center, I should say, with Command K. And in it, you can see that you use one letter to do just about everything. If I want to mark something done, I go E. If I want to send a template, well, look, I can compose something and have them say it. If I want to use a snippet is their way of saying template. It saves all my old snippets right here, so I can just insert that. If I want to go to, hey, I don't actually want to prioritize something, I can have custom ones that are exactly and only for me. So I really like this Control K. I also think that it's really important with something like Superhuman. You know, we get inundated by email. And there's a reason why, like, for instance, I don't ever go to LinkedIn anymore. I don't know if you guys do. I don't know if anybody uses their LinkedIn DM inbox. I sure don't. And the reason I think is because there's no ability to curate anymore. And so with this, what I love is I get to inbox 0 all the time. And when you get to inbox 0 in Superhuman, it's like this beautiful, it's so rewarding. They have like this image that comes across. It's a little field of flowers. Also, it has all my calendar things in it really, really quickly. Those can come on board. I have my assistant go through and clean all of those. It has any invoices and payments. I sort of categorize everything in here. So anyway, I'm a huge fan of Superhuman. They now have AI where they have like intelligent communication. So if I wanted to compose a new email, I just press C. Then I could go ham. And if I wasn't going to use FN, which is my favorite now with Wisterflow, and I was going to actually write something, I might be like, hi there, I wanted to, and do you see how it starts to fill in my sentences? So before I'm even finishing it, it's filling out the wanted and to, and so it's allowing me to skip a bunch of words. I wanted to, follow up, and then it gets me on this. Well, that is exactly what I wanted to say next. So anyway, I really like Superhuman. Again, we're not sponsored by any of these people. Also, if you're a founder, this is a little bit of a asterisk side note, their onboarding sequence is so good that I make every one of my portfolio companies look at it. So I highly recommend Superhuman. They also have this thing over at the side, which is kind of cool. See here, like on the side, if you aren't watching this on YouTube, and if you are, you should subscribe because we're going to be coming out with so much good stuff. And we get to bring on better guests when we have more followers who subscribe. So I'd love you to make sure you hit the subscribe button. But on the right-hand side, what it also does is it auto-creates a profile for everybody who's pinging you. So it's like, hey, here's Codie's LinkedIn. Here's Codie's email. Here's Codie's website. Here's Codie's Twitter profile because it knows that that's who I'm emailing right now. I think it's super, super cool. So let's talk about what we do with ChatGPT at my company. Lots of people are doing lots of different things that I think is awesome. But there's a couple things that have been really, really useful for me. First is I created a custom Codie IG content creator. Well, I didn't create it. I had Chadwick create it for me. And these custom GPTs, what they basically do is they're like little smart robots online that keep all of the learnings that you put inside of them, and you can direct them towards one thing, sort of like an operator. So in this instance, this little ChatGPT is only for content creation. And I trained it on my voice, everything that's on the internet, all of the things that I've created in order to help me prompt better. So for instance, it auto gives me some prompts up front, but it's like, what are some meme angles for a finance brand? So I might put that in there. And I might say, what are some meme angles for a finance brand? It's going to start talking about it. It's going to create carousels, memes, infographics, cash generating reels. Like, yes, please, in the tone of Codie Sanchez, please create me some finance memes that would be great for Twitter. And then I hit go. And what's kind of cool about this is right now, ChatGPT is creating a bunch of finance memes for me. So you already saw it. It's like, the first one is the visual Drake no yes meme. The second one is a SpongeBob meme, a brain exploding meme. So then what would I do? Well, I like this top one. It's like a debt flex meme. I just copy and paste it and say, please turn this into a visual meme for me that fits for Twitter. And then it's going to create an actual visual image for me. And what's pretty cool about this is that it doesn't take very long. It'll spin up something for you unique. And while that is working on that, I might go over to Perplexity, for instance, and start doing research for something else that I'm creating. But for the cost of like a couple lattes a month with ChatGPT, I have somebody who historically, I would have had to pay thousands of dollars a month in order to create visual content for me and come up with memes. And now I've got that happening with ChatGPT Live, which is so wild. So while it's finishing the meme, let's go over to Perplexity. Now, you could just have ChatGPT. That's totally fine. I like Perplexity because Perplexity, I think, has some of the best research out there. So for instance, I like to know what's going on in the markets. I'm sitting in the, markets capital of the world, New York City. And one thing that Perplexity just added, which is super cool, is they've created their own Yahoo Finance inside of Perplexity where you can download all the data, and it has completely replaced what I used to pay money for on my Yahoo Finance subscription. In here, I can create my own watch lists of stocks that I want to watch. There's just some filler ones in here right now. I can also create in here all of the financials of a company. I can drop in and have Perplexity analyze them for me. So let's say you're an investor and you want to go down Tesla because there's nothing going on with Tesla and Elon these days. And I want to break down really quickly what's happening in this space. I can, just like Yahoo Finance, it's all in one place. Plus, it can save the things that I think about it. So I like Perplexity a lot for that. Perplexity is also my go-to for like random research deep dives. So let's say, for instance, I'm going to go back to Perplexity homepage. I really like to use it for frameworks for my business and creating like data and tables for my frameworks. So let's say I say right now, at our company, we have something called the 3 C's, which is how we determine if a market is useful to go into and will make money. The market has to have cash, curiosity, and a crowd. And if we have those 3 things, then we think it's a market worth going into. Can you please write me up a quick brief about this idea? Show me a database or table with this idea in it and some examples of what could be a good sector to get into with this framework idea. All right. Now, that would have taken me a long time to type, but since I didn't have to type it, I just whisper flowed it. It's creating it right here. I mean, look at this, you guys. This is out of control. So underneath here, we got the 3 C's. That's my proprietary framework. That's Codie's ideas in her head. But look, it flushes it out. It gets all the grammar right. Everything's bold, where appropriate. And then it actually gives me a table, which I'll probably have to manipulate a little bit, that says like, all right, health and wellness, cash, spending power. So do people have money in this space? Well, yes, there's a lot. Is there a lot of curiosity? Yes, we want to be hot. We want to be healthy forever. Is there a crowd? Yeah, we all got bodies. We got to take care of them. Have the 3 C's been met? Yes. And then it gives notes over to the right-hand side. This would have taken a long time to do it before. And then it even gives one at the bottom that would be maybe a bad one. It says fax machine sales. Well, cash, spending power? Not really. Nobody's using those things anymore. Low. Curiosity? No, that's low. Nobody cares about that. Crowd, market size? Very low and dying. And then finally, is the 3 C's met? No. And so now we have an entire framework that's spun up with Perplexity, and I can take this and put it into my business SOPs and say, hey, investment team, I don't want you to bring me deals unless they fit these 3 C's. I can take it to our scaling workshop and say, hey guys, I want you guys to run your business through this framework and let's see if we think that you're in the right market. I love Perplexity. I think it's like having a researcher at your fingertips that I used to have to pay like $150,000 a year from some of the brightest schools in order to come up with consultant level feedback right here. I want to do one other one for you guys. Let's say right now that you're like, I don't know what my competitors are doing. We have another podcast you should go back and listen to that's all about pricing. How do you price things? How do you name your price? And so let's say you're like, I am competing in a certain space and I want to know what my competitors are doing and what is the right cost. So I might say, hey, I own a commercial landscaping business in Austin, Texas, and I don't know what pricing tiers I should offer, and I don't know what my competitors charge. Can you put together a database or a table that shows me what my competitors charge and how many different pricing tiers I should have offering what? Okay, Whisper Flow's hooking me up. I'm hitting send, and this thing is rocking and rolling. Now, while Perplexity's thinking about that, you know what I'm going to do? Oh, no. I'm going back to the to ChatGPT, and this is one thing with AI that's true. And it says it can't turn the visual, remember the meme that I asked for, into what I asked for because it is a violation of our content policies. I mean, I think that's a little ridiculous. Everybody uses these, but the chat GPTs have to be careful about violating any IP. And so sometimes that doesn't work. So what might I say instead? So let's say that I take this second one and I'm like, all right, the BizScout plug. I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to say, can you please turn this into a visual meme for me for Twitter? And we're going to see if that rocks and rolls. Then we're going to go back to Perplexity and look what we got here. Commercial landscaping pricing in Austin, Texas. We have a ton of sources up top, so I can make sure that Perplexity is not lying to me. I can go check these sources. And it's saying, what are the typical pricing structure? And then it's for maintenance of lawn all the way to landscape lighting. We've got typical pricing structure, aka monthly or acre or service or per project. And then price range. How much does it cost? Pretty incredible. Then it goes down and even says recommended pricing tiers. I recommend a basic basic, a standard, and a premium. You guys know I always like 3 pricing methodologies. And then it gives you what services are included. This is so smart and basically helps you come up with the V1 of your pricing really, really quickly. All right, so you guys can see Perplexity research. This would take me a long time to go do myself. Even if I had a VA do this work, it would take them hours. It takes this thing seconds. Fascinating. Then, while we're doing that, we're going to go back and see if they're creating the image. Ooh, okay. It looks like we got past ChatGPT on this one. Now I'm saying, all right, I want a meme created. If Codie was going to create a meme, because I'm almost like a boomer, I don't know about you guys, but I really am not very good at graphics, it would have taken me a long time. Or if you were to go to like 99 Designs and Upwork, for you to get one meme done, it's going to cost you like $100 to $250. Well, now we've got our first meme. Do I think this is perfect? Here's what it is. It's a guy holding the hands of his girlfriend, looking back at a hot lady in a red dress. So he's getting distracted from the love of his life, girlfriend to hot lady in a red dress. And it has on top of it the name of one of my companies, BizScout Business Listings. And so basically it's saying, I'm looking back at this other thing. Wow, I should be focusing on something else. Now, I don't love exactly how it's set up, but we'd change iterations on that. I'd be like, please respell, BizScout correctly without the weird B and all one word. And please make BizScout the girl in the red dress, actually, and the W-2 job, the girl in the blue shirt. And in the middle is a person who hates their job. And we'll see what they come up with next. But you can see how quickly this moves. Okay, so now while that guy's being created, I'm going to show you guys something I've never shown before. This is called Codie.chat. So I got so into AI lately that I thought, could we turn Codie into AI? So I had my AI guy spin up a Codie AI, which is like turtles all the way down. This is so macro. And look at this. So basically, you can literally text me or call me, voice call me, and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about in business. You see this little website we got here. It's Codie.chat. If you guys want to go check it out, it's free. And in here, you can go like, all right, I want to talk to Codie about whatever, buying a business. So I'm like, maybe I want to say, I don't know where to start with buying a business. What is the first step I should take? If I'm a newbie and I've never bought a business before, but I'm gainfully employed and I've made some money and I want a profitable business. All right, we're going to now see what I say back. And now you can literally text back and forth with me. The thing that's cool about this is we trained it on my entire book. We trained it on all of the chats inside of our community. We trained it also on everything that you guys get from me publicly. So let's see if I agree with my own advice. What a weird world. Here, I do. This is exactly right. This is step 1 of the process, which is we call deal clarity. And here, little Codie AI says, first step, define your deal box. This is your filter for finding the right business. You ask yourself a couple of questions. This helps you keep from chasing shiny objects and focus on businesses that fit your goals. Then it says, once you got that, start researching those businesses for sale on platforms like bizscout.com. So it's telling you where, if you go to bizscout.com, you can get a free deal box. You can fill it out online. And then you can actually get connected with businesses that fit your deal box. And then I ask you a question. What's your biggest hesitation about taking the first step? And I might say, I don't know how to finance the business. I don't want to use all my own money. I'm scared about that. How do I get the money to buy a business? And then we send that and see what Codie says. And while that's happening, we'll go back to love it. So now we got the meme and the meme is updated and we've turned it so that BizScout is the girl in the red dress that you're kind of obsessed with. And the guy in his W-2 job that he hates is looking back on this image. I think this is just the beginning. So there's a couple other things I want to show you on ChatGPT while Codie is now working away at getting us answers in her AI land. I want to show you also Twitter graphics. So we have a newsletter, contrarianthinking.co. Every single week I put custom graphics in it that go along with everything we teach you guys. Well, the graphics have a process. And so I was paying thousands of dollars to get those graphics done every week. So I created a GPT, which you can do very easily by going to ChatGPT, clicking on GPTs, and creating one. And so in here, you can see up at the top, I go into edit my little GPT, my little operator. And when I go to edit my operator, it gives me details. It says like, what's the name? What's the description of what we're doing together? What instructions do you want to give me? What knowledge should I have? What search capabilities should I have? So I put in there some of my favorite graphical types like No Mercy, No Malice, The New Yorker, Visualize Value. And I say, I want you to draw graphics for me like those. And then I might go to my Twitter and say like, okay, let's go to Codie Sanchez. And at Codie Sanchez, maybe I pull one of my top performing tweets. I don't know. I want it short because I want them to turn it into an image. Okay, so this one. Surround yourself with owners. The conversation just hits different. I do believe that. So I'm going to go back here to my Twitter graphic and say, can you please turn this quote into a graphic with the styles that I gave you that I can use on Twitter? So now it's going to start creating this graphic for me. And we can go back to Codie and see what Codie says. So it's interesting. I asked Codie AI how I could finance the business, and look what happens. I'm starting to answer your question. I'm talking to you about seller financing. I'm talking to you about SBA loans. I'm asking you what your comfort level is with debt. You are getting like real in-depth insights from somebody for free, fast. I think this is going to be the future. So let's go back to my little chat GPT here, and we're creating an image. Now I want to show you something wild. If you guys haven't seen our YouTube videos yet on Codie Sanchez's channel, we bought unwanted land. We bought a few patches of it. Now we're building stuff on it. And one of the places we're building things is what I'm calling Freedom Farms. And so I was like, I want to build a universe on Freedom Farms. So what did I do? I went to my buddy ChatGPT. I came up with a name called Freedom Farms, The Rooted Realms. I came up with a cool logo. I wanted it to be like nostalgic, like Narnia meets Lord of the Rings meets American folklore. I came up with a vibe, like ideas, characters, teaching. I came up with things we could sell at my Airbnb, like maybe costumes so they could frolic in the woods. Then ChatGPT came up with for me, hey, how could I make this place sort of magical? If I want to have a location with like tents on it and I want to have an RV park and it's by a river, how can I make the activities magical? And so on it, I'm going to have these little like fairy gnome farms. I had them create something kind of, I think this is a cool idea. Wouldn't you guys freak out if you went to an Airbnb, and any other nerds back in the day, did you guys like Narnia? I love Narnia. There was like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and Narnia. And in The Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe, there's like this wardrobe that opens like this, and you step through the closet, and all of a sudden you're in Fantasyland. Well, I wanted to have one of those open, and then the back was empty, and you walked through it like on a trail. And so my buddy ChatGPT created that for me. It also created some ideas of like painted rocks I could have, like ancestor lands. But if we want to get real crazy, it came up with an entire storyline about native animals to Oklahoma, turning them into a fantastical cohort of beings. It gave me names for the tribes. You know, the Tharnan were the mammals. It even gave me a tagline, from root to fang we endure. Then I asked it to take all of the ideas that it gave me and turn them into images. And so it created an image with all of the local Oklahoma flora and fauna in it. And I did that for reptiles, and I did it for mammals. I will say, like, it's not perfect. So if you go on here, there's like a snake that is actually just what appears to be a donut snake. You know, it's like it's an Ouroboros, actually. There's also something on here that is called the 5-lined skink that looks like a dinosaur. So like there are some parts of this that aren't perfect, but for 30 seconds and $0, I think it's incredible. Okay, let's go back to ChatGPT. So my quote was, surround yourself with owners. The conversation is just different. And here I think it thought that I was talking about a real estate perspective. So it created a dude who has a house as a head, but incredible. Now I'm just going to manipulate until you get what you want. Then I'll show you what this looks like in another area. So if you guys are on my Instagram, I created these little Codie cute girls. I guess they call them brat dolls. These little brat dolls in Codie version, I had them take images of me, and quotes from Twitter, and then recreate these images. And you can see them. One prompt, my quote, a chick that looks like me, and all of a sudden, we're starting to get these images of Codie. And we went back like crazy. I mean, we've got Codie saying, regret is a greater disappointment than failure. We have like 3 iterations of it until I got to one that I thought wasn't too slutty, because brats are a little slutty. Also, they made me a thickie to start out, as my husband would say. I was a little thick in this one, so I didn't love that one. Anyway, I did this again and again for a bunch of different quotes that were my favorite ones. And inside of an hour going back and forth, I had like 15 cartoon images of myself. I think that's pretty incredible. So today, I think you should realize one thing. AI is here to make you more money as long as you use it and don't get used by it. You know what I'm not doing on ChatGPT? Making it my friend, giving it a name, making it tell me nice things and compliments. I was on a girls' trip actually, where there were 12 of us women or something like that, and something between 8 or 10 of them kind of made a joke that they were like in a relationship with their ChatGPT AI, and I was like, that's not that funny. No, you're not. You're not in a relationship with something that doesn't push you at all, that only says what you want it to do, that is a one-way street, that is called narcissism and ego, and not actually what a relationship is, which is 2 humans battling together to become better. You should use this as a tool. This is not a friend. AI is not your friend. It is there to help you. AI cannot be your friend. Why? Because it can't have your same life experience. A friend is somebody who can sit there with you, who can travel through time with you, who understands what it's like being human, who understands your perspective, and will tell you the difficult things when you need to be told the difficult things. And so I think you can make a ton of money with AI. But I think you got to remember that this is not a human. It is a tool for humans. And that is how you win and make more money than ever. I hope you guys liked this Bigdeal podcast episode. Let me know. It's totally different from anything that we've ever done before here. But I've been using AI so much, and I've been hearing all these people feeling scared of getting left behind by AI. So this video was for you. Until next week. Oh, make sure you subscribe so we don't let the AI bots take over.